He exploded house like a lion, pouncing on its prey. I jumped out of the bedroom, locking him inside as he went wild. My heart was pounding in my chest. Like, what had I gotten myself into? On our way back home, the air in the car was thick with tension. I mean, thick like the smell of a cat's paw. Yes, you heard me right. My new Maine Coon, who had been quiet for most of the ride, suddenly started mewing in distress. Well, unleashing a massive surprise inside his too small carrier, the next thing I knew, the smell hit us like a freight train. It was smearing it all over his fur as it turned in circles, trying to be comfortable. Ah, my heart sank. This was not the calm, cozy start I had imagined when adopting a grown-up cat. I thought the rain and the traffic was the worst of our troubles, but oh boy, I was so wrong. I was about to learn what it really meant to welcome this majestic creature into my home. The first 24 hours was unlike anything I have actually expected. The stress, the mess, and everything in between, and you won't believe how it all unfolded. We were off to pick up the cats after work around 5 p.m. Under the sheet of rain that only made the rush hour traffic worse. Despite the delay, the cat's previous owner waited patiently for us. She had been so understanding, which was a relief, but little did I know that this was just the beginning of a long, chaotic night. As we arrived, the cat seemed to sense something was up. He peeked down the staircase. His eyes were wide before running back upstairs in retreat. And that's when I noticed something strange. The carrier the previous owner handed me was very much smaller to the one I had at home. With the cat secured, or so I thought. We started our drive home, and that's when the meowing began. Enough, it was full with wailing. At first, I joined him in meowing, thinking he was doing it for fun. Unknown to me, my poor new cat had gotten so stressed that he had pulled inside the carrier, and as if that wasn't enough, he started rolling in it, trying to get comfortable. The carrier was just too small, he was desperate to move around. My heart was racing, my stomach turning. We had no choice but to wind down the windows. Despite the rain, I was regretting every decision that led me to this moment, I won't lie to you. When we finally got home, I knew I couldn't let him out immediately. It was so much of a mess. I was so terrified, to be honest. He had spread that chaos all over the house. So I placed the entire carrier in the bathtub with some water in it, hoping that would contain him long enough to figure out my next move. He, on the other hand, was furious, growling and hissing. We're like something out of a horror movie that I really don't understand. I tried patting his head through a small opening. But that only made things worse. His claws flashed. I quickly realized that this wasn't a situation that I could control. Sorry. I had to check the water to be sure if it's not too hot, not too cold. Trust me, his claws were so long and quite sharp that I had no other way to get him cleaned up. At this very point, I was already thinking about my life, thinking of how do I start without getting scratched. While I was lost in thoughts, it became very, very wild. I got so scared, I was like, God, who would I tell that my domestic violence came from my domestic cat? I had to open the carrier eventually, and when I did that, he exploded house like a lion, pouncing on its prey. I jumped out of the bedroom, locking him inside as he went wild. My heart was pounding in my chest. Like, what had I gotten myself into? Sorry. Once things seemed to calm down, I slowly opened the bedroom door. It was drenched and shivering. It's formatted with remnants of the chaos from earlier. I tried as much as possible to pat him just to give him some comfort. Then he darted out of the bedroom, Found a corner to hide in, too fast for me to even attempt to dry him off. I set up his litter box, water and food nearby, give him the space he clearly needed. I couldn't blame him, his whole world had just turned upside down. The next morning, I woke up to check on him in the sitting room and realized he was nowhere to be found. I was searching for him. I realized the litter box was wet, and I thank goodness that he did not wet himself from anxiety. When I saw the fur on the couch, I was so much relieved. At least he found himself somewhere safe to rest on. So I checked under the couch and I realized he was just under there doing extremely nothing, staring at my feet. So when I thought I was carrying this couch up to just take him out of there because it was just too big for that kind of space. So I thought of lifting the couch up just to take him out of there, and it was as if he vanished into the thin hair. I searched everywhere. Finally, I found him into a thin corner next to the bed. Very, very dark place. As if the world outside was just too much for him to handle. It was clear that he did not trust me, and I couldn't blame him for that. But I couldn't just leave him there forever, so I approached him slowly, talked to him softly, hoping to coerce with him. Just like you, man. When I gently placed him on the bed and rubbed his head, he finally started to relax. It was the first time in 24 hours that I saw any hint of a cat I had hoped to adopt.
He likes a lot of head rubs.
For a moment, it seemed almost playful, battling with my hand and stuff.
Beautiful, isn't it? Oh. Mine is not sweet now.
But the second I stood up, he bolted back into hiding. Clearly, he wasn't ready for too much interaction just yet. 2 p.m., it hit me. He hadn't eaten or drank anything since the night before. Panic set in. I even called the previous owner, who assured me it was a normal thing for cats to take a while to adjust. Still, I couldn't help but worry. I bought some chicken as a treat, hoping it would tempt him, but even that didn't work. Eventually, I mixed the chicken with his dry food, and finally he took a few bites. I could almost hear my own sigh of relief. Slowly after the tiny meal, he started to explore the living room. It wasn't so much, but it was a kind of good progress. As the nights wore on, he started venturing from one room to the other, sniffing everything like a detective on a case, like EFCC. Every little sound, though, sent him scurrying back to his safe spot. I noticed he had started scratching the floor like he was trying to cover up something invisible, as if his instincts were kicking even without a litter box under his paws. I had to laugh at this sight because what the hell is happening here? By 9:30 p.m., he was finally starting to relax, rubbing up against the furniture, marking his new territory. And for the first time, he curled up next to me, ready to sleep. It was so cute. Looking at him, I couldn't help but smile. The past 24 hours had been a roller coaster. Maybe, just maybe, we were starting to figure each other out. He still doesn't have a name, and I would like you to put a befitting name for my boy in the comment section. And there was so much more to learn about him, but this is just the beginning. Thanks for sticking with me through this wild adventure. Be sure to follow me for more updates on how my lion cub is settling in. And do not forget to drop a comment with suggestion of his new name. Bye, and do not forget to subscribe.